Good afternoon, students. For today's lesson, we're going to talk about the contemporary global governance. But before that, let us first have our lesson objectives. First, we are going to explain the meaning of global governance and the functions of the United Nations. Second, we're going to talk about the challenges faced in the global governance in the 21st century and the relevance of the state amidst the globalization. And next, we're going to recommend others to study the important details of the functions of the United Nations in globalization. So what is global governance? This is the purposeful order that emerges from institutions, processes, norms, formal agreements, and informal mechanisms that regulate actions for the common good. Global governance encompasses activities that transcend national boundaries at international, transnational, and regional levels and is based on rights and rules that are enforced through a combination of economic and moral incentives. So why is global governance important? This is necessary because humanity increasingly faces both problems and opportunities that are global in scale. Today, transnational problems such as violence and pandemics routinely reach across borders, affecting us all. And at the same time, the increasingly integrated global system has also laid the necessary foundations for peace and spectacular prosperity. Effective global governance will allow us to end armed conflict, deal with new and emerging problems such as technological risk and automation, and to achieve the levels of prosperity and progress never been seen. So we're going to talk about the functions of the United Nations. So there are two main functions of the United Nations. First, its main function is to maintain peace and security for all of its member states. The UN does not have its own military, but it has peacekeeping forces which are supplied by the member states. The next function is to protect human rights and provide humanitarian assistance when needed. The UN currently provides technical assistance in elections, help to improve judicial structures and drafts constitutions, train human rights officials, and provides food, drinking water, shelter, and other humanitarian services to people displaced by famine, war, and natural disaster. The United Nations plays an integral part in social and economic development through its United Nations Development Program. So this is the largest source of technical grant assistance in the world. There are 8 human development to rank countries in terms of poverty, literacy, education, and life expectancy. These are Next, the UN General Assembly. So this was established in 1945 under the UN Charter, and the General Assembly occupies a central position as the chief deliberative, policy-making, and representative organ of the United Nations. are several functions and powers of the United Nations General Assembly. So these are if you are asking how to be a member under the United Nations, so to become a member, a state must accept peace and all obligations outlined in the Charter and willing to carry out any action to satisfy those obligations. So the final decision on admission to the UN is carried out by the General Assembly after recommendation by the Security Council. Okay, the global challenges and opportunities. So we have 7 causes in the crisis in world governance. First is the economic inequality. Second, the social conflict. Third, religious sectarianism. Fourth, Western imperialism. Fifth is the colonial legacies. Sixth is the territorial dispute, and seventh and the last one is the control over the basic resources like water and land.